Go.
Okay. So well, it's earlier than normal for us. Graham Berry is our demonstrator tonight. He's doing this from close to London.
No.
And yes, is that correct?
Blackpool. It's on the northwest coast of England. It's about 240 miles from London.
Oh, well, there you go. That says how much I know about English geography. However, he will be sterling in his efforts to show us how he works. Graham is a terrific guy. He's all about light and shadow and color. And you'll see that the thing that impresses me the most about what he does, and he said this several times, is that he works generally with the 6 colors, the primary colors, and he just manages to, if you see the work, he's standing against the wall of his paintings there. They're just an incredible variety of paintings. And that, for me, that's the most interesting thing going to be tonight. He has a background as an illustrator. He worked for years. And Graham, you said at one point that it was nice when you finally retired from illustration, you could paint what you want. Illustrators are told what to paint. And so finally you get to the point, I think that's true for all of us who've retired. We can finally paint what we want, paint the things that we love. And so that's what you're going to demonstrate to us tonight. So,
I did love being an illustrator. I got paid to draw every day.
What a great job.
Yeah. It was never work. Never work.
Oh, well. Well, okay. So, Graham, over to you. Give us a show.
Okay, I'm going to move the camera now, put it so you can see the painting.
Ooh. Oh.
There we are.
Okay.
So this is a painting I'm doing today. It's a cafe scene. It's from one of our winter holidays in Tenerife taken a few years ago. And I love painting people. I love scenes and I love storytelling in a painting.
Yes.
And I love the light. The palette, you can see I've only got 6 colors. I've got 3 high value primary, which is a winter lemon, permanent rose, and cerulean blue. Then for all my darker colors, I have the quinacridone gold, permanent alizarin crimson, and a cobalt blue. Now, I don't always work the same way. When I've got an online school, and I try to vary my methods. It's the same technique, but I don't want to be tied down to, I don't want to be doing the same methods every week, every 2 weeks, whenever the tutorial are released. All my paints are done with 6 colors or less, 2 brushes, a 1-inch flat brush and a 16 round. These are synthetic brushes. When I was an illustrator, I only ever used sable, but they are very expensive. If you bought that as a sable brush, you're talking hundreds and hundreds of dollars. I can buy that for $15, $20. I'm not saying I'm tight, but I'm careful. Now this first wash, it's more about water than pigment. So I'll just mix the first color, Windsor Lemon. So lots of water, little pigment. And I've got 3 water pots, and that good idea, clean as much color off your brush before you rinse. So take as much yellow off. I rinse in my first pot, the yellow pot. And I check on the paper towel, make sure there's no yellow before I go into my next color, which is a permanent rose. And permanent rose is a staining color, so you've got to be careful. As you can see, all my brushes, they're all pink. That's all been stained through permanent rose. So if you want to lift that color, you've got to do it while it's still damp or wet. Once it's dry, you can't shift it. I'm taking as much colour again off the brush before I put the final primary on this first 3-colour wash, cerulean blue. There we are. Lots of water. This first wash is very, yeah, not so much pigment on this first wash. I'll clean as much colour off as possible and rinse it in my blue pot. I get through a lot of paper towels, by the way. I'm always checking what colours on the brush. I want to keep my brush clean in between picking colours up. Although when I'm working quick, I can put 2 colours on the brush at the same time. In fact, I was doing a demo or doing a workshop, and one of the ladies said, "Oh, he's double dipping." So, I beg your pardon. Right, I want to get the paper wet now for this first wash. I'm just going to spray it with some pure water, not distilled or anything special, just water out the tap.
Graham, you didn't say what kind of paper you're using?
Oh, this is it's a 300-pound heavy paper. It's Arches rough. And when I teach my workshops here in my studio, on day one, I usually we work on a watercolor block. On day one, do single figures. On day 2, I work on stretch paper, which is stretched on a board. And always on day 3, I always do a lot of complicated crowd scene, lots of figures. And lots of times the students haven't finished it, so they can take it. I work on heavyweight paper on the last day. They can take it away and continue working on it. And I provide all material and equipment. So I've got people coming from America for my workshop this year. They don't have to worry about bringing any paints or paper or brushes. There we are, that's nice and wet. I always put my head at an angle, make sure it's all everywhere is nice and shiny. I don't use masking fluid. Well, hardly ever. I prefer to have control over my highlights and the edges around the highlights and the colour around the highlights. So now we can start. I don't have a preferred way which colour I start with. I can start with any colour really. I can start with, say, yellow there. I'm going to put some yellow there, and that guy there in the background. All the flesh tones, a bit of yellow.
Wow.
This first wash, it's all soft edges, no hard edges. All these chairs are going to be green eventually, so there's going to be a bit of yellow there. The highlights as well. If there's a bit of yellow goes into it, it'll be a sunlight highlight. So it's just, that's a really strong yellow there. We've got 2 pints of lager on his table, which is when you're in a nice hot country, hot climate, you want a nice drink at lunchtime, don't you? Well, I do anyway. Can you see everything all right, everybody?
Yeah.
Very good.
Got a bit of yellow on all across the bottom as well. I've got masking tape all the way around this. I always put masking tape round, so when you, at the end of the paint, you can just peel it away, and you've got a lovely sharp white edge around the painting. It's almost as good as having a matte.
Good plan.
I'll just drag some permanent rose into that yellow and just put some colour into the flesh tones. Now this first wash, I normally say about 15 minutes, because by the end of 15 minutes, the paper's drying.
Sure.
You've not got any choice. Even my students, they can't, I don't give them any longer than 15 minutes because it defeats the object. But like I said, normally when I'm doing a workshop, if I do a say, well, when I go through the rest of the painting, I'll say, I'll do that step, this round here, I'll do 10 minutes. I give my students 20 minutes, and I'm very strict. Does it put you off? Let's put some. This is going to be really dark, this corner. A bit more yellow in that. Around these highlights, just put some stronger colour permanent rose. It's going to really make these highlights stand out. And just permanent rose, I'll just put some permanent rose into the shadows as well.
Graham, your paper is still wet, right? So this is all going on really soft.
Oh yeah, it's all still wet. Yeah, I'm working to I'll say another 5 minutes and this first wash will be done. I'm on a time schedule. See the back of that lady's dress now, so lots of permanent rose in there. Got to preserve that lovely highlight though. On the hands, as it begins to dry, the paint, you've got more control over the paint. It won't be spreading as much. If it's gone into a highlight, you can just use a bit of paper towel and just lift it off if it's spread too much. Got a fresh bit of paper towel. I'm going on to the blue now. A little bit of blue on the back of this lady, and seeing that lady's top as well, so nice bit of blue there. Into the background, a bit more blue into some of these shapes. What's that now? Is it? You all, everybody keeping up?
Yeah, doing fine so far.
Just had a bit of permanent roll to that guy's trousers. Bit more blue in this guy's shirt. See that lovely highlights. Got some nice little bits of green up there. Just a bit more pigment now to this wash, just to get a bit more control. I've drawn all these. It's a very strong drawing. You can be, you need to be, if you're going to be loose, you need a good strong drawing. You've got to try to make sense of all these shadows, all the shapes, make sure that all these little chair legs. Put some yellow and that little bit of background there. Bit more yellow there. I just add a touch of blue to that. That's about the first wash done, I think. I just add a bit more colour to that back of that chair. And then a bit more blue. That's about it for this first wash. The paper is now drying, so it's yes, drying up there. So that's about as much as we do on the first wash. I'm just tempted to add a little bit more red on that lady's top there. Yeah, we've had 15 minutes now. Just left that.
Thank you.
Okay, that's first wash done. I need to let that dry, or I'm going to get the hair dryer on if you don't mind. Yeah, looking all right. So I know it's going to upset a few people. I'm going to clean the palette.
Oy.
This is a beautiful palette to work on. Nice ceramic palette. See that squeaky clean?
Yep.
What did you use to do your drawing with? Just a pencil?
Yeah, for my online school, I do all the master drawings on my computer using Photoshop. And I print them out. And you can print it in 2 halves or three A4 sections, and I print them. I'll show you an example. That's a trace of a future painting. It's printed in 2 halves, like that half, joined together, and I rub the back with a soft pencil, graphite stick. Show you.
Is that how you
Rub
did
the-
this?
Yeah, I rub the back with a graphite stick, then I put that on your paper, use a hard pencil, go over all the lines. And when it's done, I go over all the lines again with a mechanical pencil, HB, like that, soft pencil. I go over every line. Because I once did a demo for the SAA in England. I had to use some of their tracing down paper. First wash, just washed all the drawing away. so I prefer to. I don't use tracing down paper. I always do my own. For my own work, if I'm doing a painting for myself, I do normally just draw it freehand.
And you use that same mechanical pencil when you're doing it freehand?
Yeah.
So there's the answer that you probably would like, Anne.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just show you some of the. I just sometimes do a drawing before I commit to a painting, so it's not a value study, so it's just like do a large pencil drawing before I do the final painting. Not everyone, but now and again I do that.
Nice.
I do light drawing as well as painting. And painting is just drawing with a brush, really.
Yep.
I'm just going to bear with me. I'll just give us a quick brush on the hairdryer.
Graham, we can't hear you. Did you?
You're muted, I think.
No, he's not muted on my.
Okay, that's my hair drying done for the day.
How did you keep the hairdryer so quiet?
Could you not hear it?
No.
It was weird. Because you're not muted, but we didn't hear it. Something magical.
Now this next, I'm mixing all 6 colours now. As you can see, a lot more pigment. Again, I'm cleaning the yellow off before I put the next colour in.
For all of us who work with dirty water all the time, note the 3 different water containers, one for each color. Oh my God.
Now, I only came up with this because I think I've got OCD or something like that.
There are worse things.
When there was 2 pots, I thought that was not right. No, you had 3, yeah. Fills that space. So happy accident.
What color is that?
This is quinacridone gold. It's a beautiful colour. It goes from almost a yellow to a burnt sienna, burnt orange colour.
If you look at the chat, those of the participants, you'll see the
You see how yellow it is when you water it down?
See the colors and the brushes that Graham uses are in the chat.
So
And I mix a little bit of permanent rose, a little dab will do, yeah.
No,
Not too-
none there. Come here, you're coming to see me? Yeah. Come here. Come here. You can sit up here.
Then the
You can sit up here.
permanent alizarin crimson.
Okay.
And I put all my colours that are adjacent to the actual well where the colour is, because I do dip in sometimes. If I want some more pigment, drop in pure pigment on the painting, let the colours mix on the paint, on the paper. Now look at that, my red pot's really red now.
yeah.
And I'll take as much red off as possible before I go into the blue. Keep everything clean, all the brushes clean. That's a cobalt blue next, my darker blue, warmer blue. I'll just a little bit more pigment towards where the well is, and then you can add a bit more water in the middle. Leaving a white area in the middle of the palette, I can drag colours into each other if I need to. Finally, cerulean blue. Okay, I'll clean that brush. I've got to plan now. I'm going to start off in this corner, work the way down around the figures, right to that side. Then I will do a little group of figures, this group of figures there as well. Then into the chair and the shadow area. I'll just put these little bits of green in there, little bits of that's just basically cerulean blue, a little bit of quin gold, and drop in a bit of cobalt just where it's a bit nice variety there. And start this wash underneath, a little bit of just Quin Gold. Need to be a bit dark, and a bit of crimson and a little bit of cobalt. Starting that big wash, I'll just start off with some Quin Gold, and you can add crimson, then cobalt. Just paint around that figure there. Add a bit more cobalt to that, and then just mix. I'm going to run the wash into those colours now. It's going to soften the edges. Now this is all wet in wet. You can just drop in colours. As long as you put a bit more pigment on your brush, it's make it really dark in there. This comes right across. Excuse me. Notice so much pigment, dropping some almost pure pigment, cobalt. If it's too blue, add a bit more crimson. Just pick up some of that bead of water with a damp brush. Now I can link that shape to the back of that chair. It's gonna just run into it. Just picking up different colours, let them mix on the paper. That links to that woman's leg as well, so it's all in shadow. Just have a touch more blue, cerulean blue. Don't want to get bogged down in too many details of this. I'm just going to soften that edge because when we come down to that shadow area, it's going to link in all these shapes together. That's a lovely dark area, just put a lot of blue cobalt, put some dark in there. Kind of just soften that edge. That's a bit water. Once we put that shadow in, it's kind of going to link it all together. We're into this part of the background.
So he's coming from England.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good to be able to watch
Yeah, absolutely.
a guy painting. I don't know where he's coming. Great Britain.
Can you understand my accent? No.
You don't have an accent.
I muted everybody, so even Mike by mistake. So if you're the only person who isn't, Val and Carol Kellogg and I are the only unmuted people, and Sally at this point. If you have questions, unmute yourself. Graham is fine with answering while he's painting.
Yep, fire any questions.
Graham, I noticed that you used your flat brush for all that underpainting.
Yeah.
And now you've switched to your round. For more detail is because you have more control over that.
Yeah. I don't want to get that first wash. I don't want to get bogged down in too many details. So faffing around.
Thanks, Mike.
So it's. Oh.
The photo reference that you're using next to your painting,
Yeah.
has that been manipulated on the computer to take away the details?
Not really. It's I do edit them in Photoshop. It's just like a dark room, so you can do what you want with the photograph. I sometimes take things out of a photograph.
So you just use Photoshop then?
Yeah, I'll show you something. This is going to be a tutorial. Same guy, and I just changed the background.
Aha.
So I've done a painting with a nice sea background, and my next wash I just did that dark. So it's really two paintings in one. So I can I've done a lot of my last 12 years as an illustrator was all mainly digital, working in Photoshop or Illustrator. So I know my way around. Just starting off that wash with some Quin Gold, and I'll just add some permanent rose.
What are you doing?
Mhm. Make sure you're comfy, Bean.
I will, my darling. Thank you.
And don't let your head fall off the edge.
This background is it's just getting in my way now. I just want to get onto the figures. But I can use the point of the brush, a damp brush, just lift the excess water as I'm working down. And around the highlights, you can just paint around the highlights with some. I'll just use a bit of permanent alizarin crimson, just paint around that guy, or the highlights in his profile. And I'll just use the cerulean blue. A bit of Quinn gold.
It's all right.
It's so sad that it's that scratchy thing on you.
It's all right. It's so nice, thank you.
Around that, that's what I don't like masking fluid. I know I've got control over that, what colours round the highlights and how strong it is. And around those lovely glasses, I'll just put some permanent rose.
For those participants who didn't scroll all the way down in the email that sent you this link, the photograph and his drawings are included in that email, so you can look at it and see a better copy
Use
of it.
Just use a damp brush if you want to lift some colour off.
I notice you blot your brush a good bit.
Yeah, I'm always checking the colour and how much water's on the brush. Now for that really dark, lots of cobalt. A little bit of crimson just around those glasses. I'll just use a damp brush to soften the edges there. That needs to be really dark. That strip was right away up. Yeah, this side needs to be really dark again. That's that Quinn gold and crimson. Just around the highlights and crimson. Just dropping some cobalt. Just bring that cobalt, clean the brush again. I want some nice sharp blue, a bit of crimson, just around that highlight. There's another guy's shoulder just there. around that chair as well. And I can just run a bit of cobalt into that shape. Just picking up all the three darks and just letting them run together on the paper. Now just look at that, I think, yeah, it just needs to be a bit bluer in that. So I'll just add some cobalt. Bit of permanent rose. Bit of yellow as well. See that'll probably need to go darker there, but that's all right. Just put those. If you just put in that washing now, you just don't want to touch that area that's wet. So that's, be careful; it runs into it. Just putting some few little shapes in the background, picking out the highlights. There's a guy's shoulder there, you just see his arm. That's a bit of flesh tone, a little bit of blue, cerulean blue. I think my wife's going to be here with a coffee in a minute. Yeah, I'm just putting these shapes in, just add some permanent row, just crimson, just around that highlight. I'll just pick up some colours from the palette, some bit of cerulean. With the yellow as well. Just put that shape in there. Start off with Quin Gold and let's drop in some cerulean, a bit of cobalt and crimson. Bit of crimson just around the edge of that highlight. And let's just run that colour down. This is going to be nice. Eventually nice dark shadow area. Colourful shadows. This is where it gets really dark, so I'll just And just put some blue on. And you say it's gone a bit too blue, I'll add some crimson.
It seems as if you're adding with your strokes pure color each layer
Yeah.
rather
can
than
do.
mixing.
I let the colour mix on the paper as much as possible. I'm picking up different colours on the palette of a bit of a cerulean it's mixed, and the edge of that shadow area, it's going to be nice and warm. So that corner's looking good. And a bit more blue into that. It's all about those lovely highlights. Just put that chair in now, it's nice. Again, I'm keeping that lovely highlight on the arm of the chair. There's a lovely little nice highlight on the edge of that. Just want to keep that, and I just really put a bit of yellow there, and then I just touch permanent roll, just warm it up. And we can just put that lovely dark in now. I don't want to touch those. If it's just been wetted, I don't want to touch it with the next wash. So just be careful there. I'll just trying to link all these shapes together. Trying to remember it's only the background.
Is your paper still wet at all from your original spray?
No. It's the second wash is wet on dry, so it's I can leave that background now. Just that's the edge of that other guy. in the background. Can link that. So we can lift. Probably needs to be darker, but I'll just. Clean the palette on a. Oh, it's a lovely clean colour now, and I'm going to start on the figures, work the way across and down into that shadow. I know you're all screaming. Look at all that wasted paint.
At least one of us is screaming. Right, Sally?
Yep.
Is a man after your own heart? No.
Oh, here. My wife's here with the coffee. Pauline.
How do you do?
Hi, Pauline.
Hi.
Oh, I've got
How's
a.
it going?
Going well.
Oh, that was good. Oh, very
I'm
good.
gonna text my husband for a cup of coffee and see how far I get.
He's got two
Hey, love.
biscuits.
I'm dunking my biscuit.
Anybody have
Good.
a question? This is our official 10-minute or 5-minute break. You don't get more than that.
I just wanted to comment on how rich the colors you're building, because you're dropping in pure color and letting them blend on the paper. It's really, it's just really nice explosion of color, but subtle because it's watercolor and it's giving us those great effects.
My husband just commented on my request for a cup of coffee. His response was,
Oh, heck, no. Oh, heck. Sorry.
so Shelley Pryor says, make sure Pauline brings enough coffee and biscuits for the class.
I'll try. I will try. It's very hard to get everybody a cup of coffee, won't it?
I'll just can you I'll put my hair dryer on again, see if you can hear it.
It's interesting. It breaks off with a loud sound. It must be something which is fine. Because you're not muted. So that's really cool. Whatever it is, it's cool.
Could you hear that?
Nope,
Yep.
but now we can hear you just fine. So it's
It's
magic.
working fine.
It's
I've
magic.
got a silent hair dryer, and I never knew it.
So what time is it where you are?
It's
is
3 minutes after 5 here.
Oh, right.
2:05 in California.
Oh, but is it nice and warm there? California?
No,
And
we're
wet.
in Buffalo.
Oh, Buffalo.
there's
sorry.
We have a California and we have a New Mexico and we have a Florida listening.
Oh,
to
right.
303 in New Mexico,
And
70
Annie,
and
Annie-
55.
Annie Strick, or what are you in Delaware or Maryland or Pennsylvania?
Oh,
somewhere?
these are all different places.
No, it's mainly Buffalo.
Buffalo.
Yeah.
And what's the weather like? Have you got snow? I'll go.
Oh, no snow, just cold and wet and raw.
Same here. Right, I better go. My duty is done.
Yeah.
Good
Well-
luck, everybody.
Thank you.
Enjoy. Enjoy.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you,
Thank
Polly.
you.
I'm going-
Bye-bye.
I'm going to put my hot water bottles in the bed now. Good night.
I'm reminded that we have somebody from Canada, Shelley, and Susan from Chicago. So this is a very cool group. I'm glad everybody's here.
Yep.
Makes me happy.
Just out of another biscuit.
I think this is the largest group that we've had watch a virtual demonstration, Graham, so you're a draw.
Well, and we might also want to pay attention to the time of day it is here. Maybe the earlier time is more convenient for a lot of people.
That's
I
cool.
was just thinking the same thing, Sally.
Necessity is the mother of invention.
But taking advantage of it is our role.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
good
yes.
But don't forget that this is going to be posted on our YouTube channel, which everybody can go to. And here comes my coffee. Oh, what a nice.
All
drink.
Whoa,
right.
Thank you, Tom.
what have you started?
Everybody needs a wife. Yeah, now he just says, I'm going to be asking you to bring me a cup of coffee down to the basement workshop. All's fair.
Now, will you use all 6 colors as you continue?
Yeah, I'm just mixing all the fresh 6 colours.
2 Canadians.
Trying to keep. Now, if anybody sees me dipping the brush in the wrong pot, tell me off.
So all of these colors, all these pigments are from Winsor Newton paints, correct?
Yeah.
Graham?
Yeah, well, it's that's the only paint I've used. I've tried a few others, but ever since I started, I've been painting with watercolors for nearly 50 years, so I've always used Winsor Newton.
Will
Well,
you change your color palette if you're doing a different painting? Do you choose 6 different colors or do you always use these 6 colors?
These are the 6 colours I've used for the last 4, 5, 6 years. I gradually took all the earth colours. I took off burnt sienna, yellow ochre. I took off French ultramarine. I took off cobalt turquoise. I took off cadmium. Oh, nobody see that? The red paint went in the blue pot.
Uh-oh.
I'm getting a bit lackadaisical.
Well, as long as you didn't put it in your tea.
We've all done that.
Oh, yeah.
And the cobalt. So what I'm planning to do now, I'm going to do these figures right the way across and into the backs of the chairs, and it's that shadow, and then I'll just probably add a few darks in the background.
Do you have a system to how you fill in a painting after you've drawn it? I mean, you've worked from farthest to nearest at this point. Mostly far, the backgrounds.
Yeah, I normally start top left, work across and down.
I like the edges that you get when you're doing this. I can see that they're going to be nice natural edges when you fill in the
Yeah.
figures.
Yeah, that's the good thing about not using masking tape, you've got control over all the edges. I find if you use masking fluid, I've done it on a few snow scenes, and I thought, you take the masking fluid away and you think, well, I've not got the right color next to the edge, next to the highlight. You know, but when you're painting it when I'm leaving the highlight now, I know exactly what color I want against the highlight all the time. If I want a soft edge as well.
Well, just the quality of the edge is very pleasing also.
Yeah, you want a variety of hard edges, soft edges, lost and found edges. I'll just start off that lady there. It's just with some Quingall, a little bit of crimson. It's the same basic colour as that little bit of background, just leaving a little bit of a highlight there. I just want some dark, just drop in some cobalt.
In your work as an illustrator, did you do a lot of figurative work as well?
Yeah, lots of figures. I did everything: cartoons, realistic, animals, people. I did everything: acrylics, scraper board, airbrush, line and wash, coloured pencil. Just got to
What
do.
finally brought you to watercolor?
Well, I've always, one of my first jobs when I work in the studio in London, in Soho, next to where all the publishers are. I was asked by the art director of the company, said, we want you to do an animal pet. We're pitching for a job with Octopus Books. He said, oh, no, it wasn't. No, that's another story. No. I was doing some illustrations for a garden company over here called Fison's. Full colour job, all to be printed. And I was working. It was my first job since leaving college, and my first full colour job as well. And I was just working in gouache. That's the only. I'd never really worked in watercolour. It's too expensive, really, when you're a student, anyway. But halfway through the job, I was my art directors in the company just said, "Go and get some watercolors. I think we need some get you started on watercolors." So that's what I did. I just moved from, in the middle of the job, I moved from gouache to watercolor.
Wow.
I was doing a still life of house plants from life in watercolor.
Uh-oh.
And they were printed, so yeah, my first job was printed, so you can't really, you've got to learn on the job. The totally different style to what I'm painting now is more smaller brushes, a bit more detailed. This lady, it's a bit of yellow and permanent rose for that flesh tone, and just leaving that, see the highlight of where her glasses are. It's gone too red. I just add a bit of yellow to that permanent roll. That links. There's some lovely highlights on the end of this lady's, just putting that glass down. Just going to put some dark right against that lady's arm as well, that waitress's arm.
No.
Getting a bit of dark against there. The same flesh mixes of just Windsor lemon, a bit of permanent rolls.
Do you know the color Windsor yellow?
Windsor yellow, yeah.
It,
not-
how does it differ from the yellow that you're using?
It's a bit more opaque, I think. I did try it for a while, but originally I had Aeolian yellow on my palette, and I found out it was a rogue color. It means it turned brown over time and lost its values. So I stopped using Aeolian, and this I went online and found the nearest. Somebody else had done a lot of searching about which colour replace it with. Windsor lemon. It's not a lemon yellow. People think it's not a lemon. It's a cool yellow, but it's not a lemony.
Yeah, I was just thinking that because Aurelian is a cool yellow also.
Yeah. I'll just start off that big dark tone of that lady's hair. Lots of quin gold and a bit of crimson. And then just drop in some cobalt blue into that back of that. If it's gone too blue, just add a bit more crimson. And we're right against the edge of that top, so it's got to be a nice dark sharp edge there. Just use the point of the brush. That's how dark it's got to be, right against that. And use some of that same mix now for the back of that lady's head. That just needs to be a bit darker. put some. Bit more yellow into that. Yeah, it's better. Little shape in the background now, it's quite dark. That's going to bring that highlight forward. Now we're into the back of that lake nose. Just use a bit of permanent rolls and cerulean. It's quite it's a white top, but it's lots of different colours, reflected light from the chairs. Put that little bit of colour in there. Just on the edge of the highlight, let's put a bit of cerulean blue. See, it's a see-through, just see her arm peeping through there. It's gone too pink and a bit more blue, and we're into that bit of flesh tone on her hand. So that's quite dark, then the other hand is a bit lighter. Into that other lady's arm. That's lots of cerulean and just have a touch of yellow. It's on for turquoise, and right against that highlight now on a nice permanent roll, and just let that wash on into it. And it's a nice little dark there. I'll just put a little bit of permanent roll, and then let's get a damp brush and just let it mix on the paper there. That runs into that top again. That's a bit This is why I want a nice clean palette coat. Just want that highlight on around to stand out a bit more, so a bit more, a bit stronger. It's just a matter of putting some of the little shapes in. Put the beer in. Let's put some quin gold and a little bit of yellows. A bit of permanent roll as well. And just all these shit, that's the guy's arm, you can just see that. Now, what's that highlight on his arm? Notice, put a nice sharp edge and let that blue just run into it. Now the edge of this, she's got a menu open now, so just put a little dark shape there, add some blue to it. That's going to link into that, the arm of the chair. Just want to get that.
Do you put fresh paint in your palette for each painting?
No. This palette's you've got a lid for it. If I'm not working for a couple of days, I come in and I'll just spray water up, keep all the wells moist. If I'm going away for a few weeks, or when I've got workshops, I always cover each palette with cling film. I don't know what you call it in America. It's
Cellophane.
yeah.
Saran wrap.
Saran
Saran wrap.
Yeah. You put that over the palette, put some lots of water in all the empty wells, and your painting's still wet enough to use, moist enough to use 4 or 5 weeks later. I like my paint to be soft.
Yeah.
I don't like working with hard paint or tablets or whatever they call them. No, let's get that guy's. That's a lovely highlight top of his head. We'll just it's really dark, so that's cobalt, maybe a bit of crimson. More blue. We're just ready for that little bit of flesh tone. Make sure your brush is clean. On some permanent roll, a bit of yellow again. It's a nice dark edge. You can see collar there. To be a bit warmer there, so a bit of crimson. You've got a bit of a beard, so let's put that in wax. Let's use a damp brush and I can soften that edge. Again, just round that guy's hair, permanent rolls. Although he's got a white shirt and lots of different colours. Picking up permanent roll and cerulean. Right on the edge, and put a nice highlight again. Maybe add a touch of blue, cool that down a little bit. Just picking up. Make sure the brush has got some bit more blue, I think, onto that. Just the edge of that highlight there. And that little shape there, just put some blue in there. And a touch of permanent roll on the edge again. Yeah, a little bit of permanent rose, touch of blue. This is a guy, he's got white hair, a bit like me. Now his face, he's been out in the sun. He's not had too much sun cream. So
He's a bit florid.
yeah, there's a nice highlight on his forehead, a little bit on his nose. I'm trying to keep those. Just use a damp, let the colours run together again. Fresh bit of paper towel. That's what I want it to be dark, just in where that collar is in his bottom of his chin as well. Clean bit of yellow now for that. That's lots of reflected light off that tablecloth. And just and I want some nice blue for the rest of the shirt. So it's just change his colours. It's lots of reflected light off his face as well. Top of that shirt, just put a nice permanent rose highlight there. These are the lovely highlights you want to keep. Want to make sure. Now he's flesh toned, and he's been out in the sun.
Crazy American.
He's a redneck.
Yeah.
And red arms and face.
This is Tenerife, you said?
Yeah. Well, can you say a redneck anymore? Has it been outlawed?
No, you can say whatever you want.
You can say whatever you want.
You can put a few of these little patterns on his shirt if you like. Now just run that blue. This is why I like to keep my palette clean, because you want pure colours. It's nice. Little highlight the back of his shirt there, and it's come underneath there, leaving little flecks of highlight, almost little diamonds are just. Then that's a real. See that real dark there. I want to just make sure I get that in. Lots of crimson. And then add a bit of blue as well, cobalt. That can link. Into that shape. And permanent rose. Just around that shape. Okay, no, it's too red. I'll add a little bit of blue to that. And back to that lovely dark. And the back of that chair, it's nice green, so I'll just put some Quin gold. And then I'm just dropping some pure cobalt there. Now it's a matter of, I'll put this that lady's top under there, then we can just concentrate on that back of the chair into the shadows. Just added permanent rose and think, oh, it's too much in it, so I'll just add some bit of blue to that. And then a damp brush, just let them colours run together. Take colour off if it's too much. Just run into that few little shapes underneath there. That's a leg, part of a leg there. This is where you want nice clean brush. I want to just put a leg in there, so we know where it is. And it gets, put the darks in. Again, I'll just put that the edge of that tablecloth in. Linking shapes now together. Got it.
Graham, you talk to
Yeah.
yourself a lot as you're working, and I just want to tell you that I really appreciate that because it's kind of being in your mind as you're working through this. Nice job.
Thank you. No, it's a question of that big shape now. With lots of highlights, you've got to keep some darks. So I think I'll start with a nice, just put that little shape in there. That little shape in there. Again, the edge of that highlight with permanent rolls. Again, it's a nice hard, sharp edge. Although it's lots of green in the back of that shirt, lots of crimson. Really dark. Follow it around again. See how dark it goes against that shape there. And the edge there, that's really dark. You know, all three of your dark primaries. That's how dark it wants to be. That edge there. And I can just clean the brush and just get a nice, start off with some cerulean. Just what does that look like? Just let it run together. Got a link into that arm. Picking up the different colours from the palette now, a bit of Quin Gold there. And then I'm trying to do this without cleaning my palette again, so it's driving me mad. I'm just put a touch of blue there. See that little shape? You can even add a bit more yellow in there if you need to. Again, so just the edge of that highlight. Permanent rolls. A bit of blue. With a nice sharp edge. That's the edge of that highlight again. Again, it's up. That was a real dark, but these little shapes you've got to look at. Dropping, it's not all dark. It's crimson, I'll just add some blue to that. And now it's picking up. See that? That almost dry, so I'll go over that and just get it mixing again. It's a nice strong paper. It'll take some welly. I'm just linking all these shapes now. Again, if you think it's gone too red, just add a touch blue into it. And a bit of Quinn gold. This is that lovely dark green again. Just picking up the different colours now, the crimson. Try not to put my hand in the wet paint. That's that guy's foot there. Just trying to link all these shapes together now. Go right back into that back of that chair now. It's a few darks in there. This is where it. You think you see a shape.
Can you answer a question while you're working?
Yeah.
I'll read it. Sue Palace asked, having not used rough watercolor paper before, does it hold more water longer?
what stretched. The heavyweight paper can hold more water.
Do you ever use it just as one of the things you want to get from it, but show the rougher texture in your surface, or is that?
Well, you will see some granulation, but this is what I love now. See that all the three colours are.
Yeah. You've got lots of
colours.
Lots of people loving your use of the triad and just using the 6 colors, you know,
Yeah.
2 blues and 2 reds and 2 yellows. A lot of appreciation there.
Thank you. And, you know, this is a real difficult bit though. This got to get these shadows linked together. All these little shapes. It gives you a bit of a headache looking at them. Think, is that a shadow? Oh yeah, that links that shadow to that shadow.
The shadows are beautiful, Tom. Beautiful.
Yeah, they are.
Can you just put in a few darks in just to give it some depth? There's some real darks in here that links to that shadow. So I'm just going to start off with ceruleaness. That links it to that shadow there.
Can I ask a favor?
Yeah.
I can ask, right?
Sure.
Could you email me a picture, an image of your painting when you completed it, so I can put that on as the cover to send to people in NFWS and also on the YouTube channel?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Great, thank you. Amazing that you're gonna finish this thing.
Yeah.
I should have thought when you sent out Mike and I a bunch of photographs to choose from, that this is gonna, you know, maybe I should have picked one with one person in it, just.
No, I never learn. I always send out a choice, and they always pick this. I did a local workshop, and everybody was saying, "Who picked this one? It's too difficult." I said, "Don't blame me. You picked it."
It's really wonderful.
Yes, it is.
So I'm just putting in a few darks. That's nice. Now you know how I'm going to get inside. A nice glass of wine.
So what time is it there?
It's just 11 o'clock. It's gone
Yeah,
past my bed. It's my bedtime. Now just see those edge of those shadows and just put a nice sharper edge, just a bit darker tone on the edge of them. And that's just That's just going to put some. It's just needed that to be a little bit darker. While I'm doing this now, I'm just thinking that's going to be drying a little bit, and I can put that rest of the foreground in. What you should have is a nice, when you pull the masking tape over, you want a nice darker, it's a little bit darker tone. Just link that shape there again, that lady's legs. You know, it's going to really freak me out tonight. I'm going to have to go to bed and leave my palette dirty.
And leave the palette what? Dirty. Ah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'll
dear.
wake up in the middle of the night screaming, I've got a dirty palette downstairs.
Oh, dear, dear, dear.
That's better now, isn't it? Is that better? I think so.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. Wow.
I'll just let that run down. Just trying to link these shapes together. And just pick up some of that color from your palette.
What kind of tape do you use?
Just masking tape.
Mhm.
It's from just from a local hardware shop. It's nothing special.
Okay.
It's what you use when you're doing a bit of DIY in the house. Which just put a little bit of yellow into that.
That's amazing.
And just put a few little darks into that. And what is nice, you can just see that where that line go right through that shadow. It gives you shadow, means the shadows are transparent. They're not just black shapes. They are. You can see into shadows. Blue into there.
I was wondering if you were gonna do that. Great.
Yeah, just want to show you how dark it can go just around that lady's head. Back of that chair, just links that shape. Top of that lady's head as well, just to bring that highlight out. And it goes dark again. Can you just leave a few shapes? A bit yellow there. Two little bits of glass there. And just around that lady's profile.
Wonderful. Remind people that at the very top of the chat is the website for Graham, paintwithgraham.com.
Yeah.
He shared that there's a few free tutorials on there, and for a very small amount of money per month, you get 2 tutorials a month.
Wow, that's nice.
So it's paintwithgraham.com.
Okay, I'm just filling a few of these shapes, not being too careful. So just bear that in mind. I'm just trying to get all the shapes in.
It's amazing.
It's a nice bit of blue just right down there. It's gone too, we'll have had a bit of permanent rose. That's going to be a bit brown there. Just make that a touch darker. And that's okay. That's
Phew.
drop the brush.
Superb.
Step away
Yes.
from the paint.
Bravo. Beautiful.
Bravo indeed.
Yes.
Just I'll just do a bit of.
There's that magical.
Yeah, the sound goes away.
I don't know why that happens. That's a first.
Yeah,
That's great.
Usually it's a very annoying.
yes.
Dottie, it's great to see you and hear you.
This has been wonderful having this great artist from so far away
Yeah.
with us.
Well, part of what makes it doable is not just his skills, which are considerable, but the fact that he speaks English.
Oh, there's the finish now.
Yeah.
That's what I'll just take that edge off now.
Look at that.
That is lovely. I love the intermingling colors and the play of light.
It's beautiful. Really beautiful.
This is always the hardest bit, taking the mask.
There we go.
I found it was interesting that you just used one round brush to do everything.
All these paintings on the wall around me are all just two brushes.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, when those of us here have like monumental brush collections.
Yeah.
Really, yeah. Yeah, that is amazing.
Well, Graham, thank you so much for your efforts here. It's just been a real informative demonstration.
Yes, thank you.
I'm just going to take the. I'm going to take this off. I'll just show you, anybody not seen the studio with all the different paint. These are all tutorials, by the way.
That's a great one.
Wow. Those are
That's
tutorials.
That's a three colors tutorial, that one.
Wow.
I'll just put that down and I'll say good night in person. Just a minute.
I think I would just pick one person. This is very interesting. I never worked with people very much.
There he is.
So there we are.
Wonderful.
And that's the one you just did? Wow.
Yeah.
That's the one we just finished.
Excellent, excellent.
The light is amazing.
Thank you very much, Graham. We really appreciate it. You being with us.
Appreciate your time, and you passed your bedtime. Gee.
Enjoy your glass of wine.
Yes.
I will. Thanks, everyone. Good night.
Okay.
Sweet dreams.
Thanks so much.
Bye-bye.